and he said, you have heat registers venting into your garage. Your home inspector told you about that, right?
Do not use this as a garage. Please do not tell me you're parking a car in here.
It was like a bomb dropped to hear this.
We could be looking at making our own home a death trap.
Kim and Jason were tired of living in a standard subdivision and looking for that dream home in the right neighborhood. Well, I think they found it. Did the right thing, got a home inspector. He came in and actually gave 2 thumbs up, but missed just a few things.
We love the city. We love being downtown, but we knew once we had kids and wanted to raise a family that we wanted to raise our family in an open air, natural environment where they can just open the door and go out and play and have fun and learn about nature and all the great things that the city doesn't offer.
We just had been playing on the internet, looking at houses that were available, and it popped up, and we're like, that looks really neat. And we thought, well, we should take a look. And the second we came and saw it, that was it.
The house is 40 years old. It was a unique build. The previous owners had built it themselves, so we really wanted that home inspection because we knew that there would be some things that were different from your standard subdivision, new home inspection.
Yeah, we accepted the fact that as an older house, this is where we're going to have to pour our time, our efforts to update things, and I like doing a lot of little projects around the place, but we needed to be assured for our kids and our safety that the house was structurally sound and things that normal people don't know about.
I was present for the home inspection, and then Jay got off of work, and he was there for probably about the last half hour of the home inspection, but it took about 3 hours, I'd say. He appeared very professional. He was very courteous. He went through a few things, explained a few things. He did find a leak in the furnace, and yeah, so we thought everything was going really well.
Kim.
Mike, nice to meet you.
Must
Such
be
a
Jason?
pleasure.
Yes, thanks.
Pleasure to meet you.
Come on in.
What a unique house.
Thank you so much.
I like unique.
That's what we thought when we saw it too.
Okay, well, we have some issues with the house. Tell me about them.
One of the things that we noticed on one of our visits was that there was a leak in the house. The first leak that we noticed was up there. So what we did is we wanted to get a mold inspection done because with 2 little ones, we have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, I was really concerned about mold.
And that's because of the leak?
Because of the leak.
Okay.
So we had a mold inspector come the first day that we took possession of the house.
So he came in first thing in the morning.
Yep.
And was walking through the house, taking air samples and infrared images of the wall, and he went to take a look at the basement. And when he got into the basement, he walked around and he said, you have heat registers venting into your garage. I said, yeah. He said, your home inspector told you about that, right? No.
He said, you cannot, promise me you will not park your cars in this garage.
This is the most open garage to any house I've ever seen. That person that told you about don't use this garage is absolutely correct because we have nothing but off-gassing from the vehicle coming into your home. Do you use the garage?
No.
Not at all. It was like a bomb dropped to hear this. It just...
Not only is the basement
pressuring.
unlivable, but we could be looking at making our own home a death trap. When we first came to see the house, they had like a tractor parked in there and everything, insinuating that was used as a garage. There's a lot of oil stains all over the place.
Okay.
He was flabbergasted that people could live in a home that was so open, let alone that we could purchase the home and have a home inspection done without it even being brought up.
You are not allowed to have an open garage inside your house. As much as I like it, as much as you might like it, you just can't do it. It's because you pull a car in, or a tractor for that matter. Tractor's worse. It's gonna have the diesel fumes just ripping through the house.
Had we not had the mold inspector in, we wouldn't have known. Like, thank goodness for him, because he is the one who brought that to light and who brought it to our attention. And how could you ever forgive yourself had we not known? And had we, you know, the winter had come and we'd been parking in the garage and something had happened to our kids. Oh, one thing we forgot to tell you in the dining room upstairs, when you turn the light on in the basement at night, you can see the light shining up through the dining room floors.
Well, it's just like, don't use this as a garage. Just tells me more that you're just left leading everything. And not to mention we have ductwork that's heating, that we have return air, we have a holy cow and a half. That's a garage door. This is considered a garage. That means anyone, if you sell the house, can park a car in here. That means it's against code.
And on top of that, he noticed that our dryer vents into our garage as well. And you can see the lint.
Well, that's just foolish. Look at all the moisture here.
Yeah. The dryer vents right beside where the vents go and bring the air back into the house.
Your foundation is cracking there. Cracked right here as it falls down, and right there. So this whole area now becomes an issue because if it were to push in this way, what's really holding the wall? Now, I noticed in the report that he did have some foundation cracking. Typical words were used. We have an issue on this back corner here. And we have an issue right there. And he missed this. He should not have missed this. This has like been pushed out. You can see it broken here. It's even pushed out from the ground. We're talking about 4 inches here, so much that it's grabbing the ledger board that holds the deck. Problem is that their header plate really ties in right here, and it is pulling it right off. So nothing's really supporting this deck right here at this point. Nothing. It's not even tied into the house. It's actually pulled it out right from here above the light, right to the end. So think about this for a sec. How long has this been like this? We see indications of the paint that's been painted across here. So at one time, the parge has come off, they painted it. Further parge, in now recent times, has continued to fall off. But look at the retaining wall here. This is all new, right? And I can tell it's new because they actually contoured cut that retaining wall to match the lean of the cinder block retaining wall. So this is a big issue. Yes, it's a retaining wall. It's not part of the structure of the house. It's part of the retaining wall that holds the earth underneath the deck. And more than likely, the problem there is that we don't have proper water drainage. It's building up in the winter, it freezes, it's pushing that wall. So here's the issue. It's going to continue to push it until the point it pulls this deck off the house.
Oh my God.
And it will collapse, it will come down. I'm gonna have a world of recommendations for you the next time I meet you here. And I'm gonna tell you what I think, what we should do, what we have to do, and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
Best friend of the world right here is the camera for an inspector. Take pictures, document the report. It is a foolproof way of showing the homeowners what's going on. You know, like, they only come in here, and I'm hoping they come in with the inspector to take a look at everything, and you gotta try and remember everything. So why not have pictures? You know, whether you carry a camera, the inspector should, but why not have pictures so you can go back and say, that crack here was at the edge, and there was an area here that was repaired, so this corner has been a problem zone. And what have they done about it? You know, that's one of the minor issues compared to this being a garage, which is part of the house. Like, I don't know how they got away with this 40 years ago. Just picture this. The car's running in the garage, and all the gases that come from that muffler can just travel right through the house, through the ductwork, right inside. This is a recipe for disaster. It's a good thing that somebody told them, do not use this as a garage. Please do not tell me you're parking a car in here. That was the mold guy, by the way, not the home inspector. You know, it's not too often I see the generator system, which is your secondary stage from the electrical panel, to have the generator panel here and have it turn on, which is your hookup here, have it turn on when the power goes out, or even having to have the ability to turn it on and then giving the power in here again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 aluminum wires running into the panel. These guys here is Romex, this is copper. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, look at the aluminum we have tied in here. This is not allowed. We have 2, 4, 6, 8 lines running in that box. Frank's not gonna like that. Now, there's definitely water coming in here, probably from the bottom of the window or the roof out front. You know, it's funny. In the report, The inspector gave a recommendation to Javex this windowsills, right? Because it's all the black marks and they're afraid of mold. Bleach is way worse for you than mold is. Do not use bleach to clean mold. Soap and water, gloves and a mask will do just fine. That's at proper height. It's at 32 inches. Just looks low. 32 inches is okay for a railing, but this should be a guard, and we want to see it taller than that just for safety issues. Even my body, look how easily I can go over that, right? Just imagine someone playing up here and you just nudge them, over they go. Now, we know the height's no good, and I just don't like that ceiling fan there at all. That fan turning around here, just clip anybody in the head. That's not the way we do things. Look at this. I've got the kid in me, you know. I can still be a young boy. And for me, what a room to have this as my room. You know, I probably have my, play area down there and my bedroom up here and the closet here. And the cool thing about going through this closet, you can actually go underneath the stairs and into the attic space here. That is just too cool. I just love this. Look, this miniature library. And, even though these are like an attic set of stairs, they're still a set of stairs. And minimum code, there's all kinds of issues in this house. It's 36 inches for a set of stairs. That's 28. Got away with it. No handrail. Got away with it. Not even a handrail on the wall side, but it being 28 inches, imagine a rail that sort of pushes you this way anyways, but you want it here to stop anyone from falling. We'll definitely fix that. Mr. Bennett.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Oh, it's been a long day, but I'm doing pretty good.
It looks like you've been here all day. This is a big house.
It is. A lot of minor and a few major right here. So we have an issue right here with the foundation wall.
What's going on there?
This is a retaining wall.
Yeah.
This is the foundation. The retaining wall, you can tell now. Yeah, because what's happened is water's gotten behind it. It's frozen, it's pushed this wall out.
Yeah.
And you can see that not too many years ago, somebody put in a new retaining wall, stairs, and they actually contour cut this retaining wall to that heave. Let's continue. This is a garage.
Yeah.
Okay, we see the big garage door. What do we see?
I see an opening with no door. I see a set of stairs that look like it's going up into the house.
Yeah, so it's a garage that's open to the house.
Yeah.
Do you believe the home inspector missed this?
He missed this?
He missed the retaining wall. He caught the cracks. He missed the retaining wall.
Yeah.
He missed the garage being attached to the house. Now we have so much ductwork, not just here, but in the back. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this shit. All right, panel, all green is aluminum. Okay, it's marked right on the wire, it says aluminum.
Yep.
So look at how many green we have. Look at how many Romex we have.
Right.
What do you think?
It's just like a can of worms. It's just a lot of different electrical here, so it looks suspect. You wanna check it out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we see the 1, 2, 3, 4 bays. We see our outside structure. The inside wall structure now steps in from the lower wall.
Right.
Okay, so now they have about a 212 pitch shingled roof incorrect. Basically, it's leaking from every point in the front of the house. The windows, the flashing, the 40-year-old cedar shake. It's coming right through into the inside of the home. Let's bring in the grades. Let's inspect the roof.
Yeah.
If I have my wish, that all gets turned to a metal roof. Okay? I want to know the damage up there.
We know it's the siding, we know it's the flashing, we know it's the windows. You know what I'm thinking? It's the whole front face of this wall we got to change. Windows and siding.
Yeah.
Let's look at the foundation wall. I want the drain scoped on the outside to find out our options of water flow from the retaining wall to the front driveway, of my options and what I'm going to do with the garage.
Now, beautiful house on the outside, isn't it? Well, it's even neater on the inside. You're gonna really get to like this house once you start looking around. But we have a lot of exposure on the front face. This face goes all the way up. It's all open. There's no overhanging gable. There's nothing protecting the front face of this house. And it's all wood. So heavy maintenance on it. I don't think it's ever been done. We're getting some leakage on the inside, and you can actually see it where the structure beam actually ties in. Okay, so you can actually see all the moisture actually coming down the front face of this wall. And that's why I want to open it right there, okay? Let's go see what we can find up there.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Now, this is more than just a seam leak. There's a lot of water coming in right at this beam connection, and you can actually see it right there. Oh, yeah. The amount of insects alone in this, just one bat of insulation, the amount of dirt, you can just see that something is running from the inside of those walls straight in. And actually, you can see water stains on the underneath of the sheeting here. We're looking at the same thing there?
Yeah. Damon?
Hey, Steve, good timing, man. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Well, I don't know yet. I see a lot of moisture on the bottom of this roof, I'll tell you that much, and I can see it actually running down the rafters, Steve, right to the edge of the plate. I can't see past there, but there's a good breeze coming in there and a lot of moisture, and everything is just starting to rot. These windows are an absolute mess. Somebody has caulked the crap out of this.
The caulking's not very old at all.
And the flashing here, look at that. Like, I mean, you even have the nail hose exposed. Like, just so much. So many leak spots on this roof right off the bat.
Yeah, with your driving rains, you know, the cedar becomes a bit of an issue.
Well, especially if no one's maintaining it. I mean, this looks like it hasn't been stained in a while either. It's all peeling off. It's rotting at the bottom here. Take a look at this, Stevie. I didn't even bend this flashing. Think of the rain that's getting in there and driving right into that window.
Oh, that's not a leak. Where'd my finger go?
You can stick your finger in there. Okay, so we know it's the siding, we know it's the flashing, we know it's the windows. You know what I'm thinking? It's the whole front face of this wall we got to change. Windows and siding.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, it's gonna have to be good.
Okay.
After you guys get this supported, this is actually gonna help it from caving in once we take down this one wall, right? This block wall is gonna have to come down. So what are we gonna have to do? We're gonna have to move every piece of stone out of the way. Oh yeah, baby. So Dom, there's one reason I brought you here. It's a little daunting, just looking at the front face of this house, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That front face is cedar shake. It's been leaking, the windows are leaking, the flashing has been done improperly, the caulking is horrible, and the windows are failing at this point.
I say we do them all, Damon. Number one, just to give the same exposure from the outside.
Yeah?
Number two, they're all gonna fail, if not now, very soon. They're rotted. I mean, I can tell from this distance here, they're very rotted. Up close, you'll see it.
And if we're doing it, you might as well do it properly. One thing Mike always recommends is that we have Martin come in and scope all the drains. All right, man, what did you find in this one?
Well, it leads pretty much to this point, and then what I'm looking at is almost like a catch basin or a little tiny manhole.
What do you mean? There's a manhole. So what's below it?
Well,
What are you seeing?
if we would remove the asphalt, I'm pretty sure there would be some sort of an access cover.
Yeah?
And then what I'm looking at right now is a cavity. It's a large opening.
Of what, concrete?
It looks like a concrete, formation, and there's also one drain that either comes in or goes out.
Where does this feed off to?
I don't know. At this stage, I don't know. I need to get access here.
Hey, Martin, you coming gentlemen, for the big unveiling. Martin. Oh. Yeah, nice try when I'm already done, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if this was a catch basin to grab the,
Rainwater?
the rainwater, the snow.
We'll never be able to lift that off. What?
Sorry?
You think we'll be able to get that off?
We'll scope it with the camera, find out where we go from here.
Yeah. I think you're right. It's probably just a catch basin. You figured it out? As he's panting and sweaty?
Pretty much.
What have you found down that drain?
Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 inlets, lines that are draining the storm water, groundwater into this
Whatever. This
cavity,
well?
whatever you want to call it, yeah. And then I have this a 6-inch clay pipe, which seems like a discharge. Now I pushed the camera about 90 feet from this point out, and I'm heading towards the road.
If we can actually use that pipe and discharge the water out of here using this, that would be ideal. I mean, we have really nowhere else to discharge it right now. We're in a bowl. We're in the bottom of a bowl right now, so we're really digging this out. Bringing it somewhere else is really going to be tough, especially with the amount of trees and roots we'd be dealing with.
Of course, of course.
This would be a great option. Any water that accumulates by the house can actually be directed into the catch basin and out to the road.
It's not a garage. We're gonna turn it back into a basement, okay? I wanna make sure you don't park your vehicle in there. I'm sorry.
That just shows that it's not just one thing. There's a lot of things happening here. This siding is definitely leaking, and so are these windows. Replacing the siding? Replacing the windows?
More than likely, both.
This is one of our biggest days. We actually have Colin starting on the wall here. What I want him to do is actually tie a new block wall in to fill this in. We're gonna leave a double door here so they can swing out and actually get stuff in and out of here. So core, we got a 12-inch course here. When you tie in your new block wall here, are you gonna come into the half bricks on the existing wall? Are you gonna take those out, tie back in? How do you wanna do this?
No, I'm just gonna use brick ties and go up.
So you just wrap them up onto that wall?
Yeah.
Sufficient down here, you're gonna chip off some of the top concrete, I'm assuming?
Yeah, we'll remove this lip. You can see it's already separating itself.
Yeah, because
from
when
the
they
garage
poured this,
slab.
they probably just poured right over the footings part too, right?
Yeah, it's already separating itself. So we'll peel off this top layer, and then our block will just go right up continuous from the 4 feet below all the way up.
So this is like at least a 2-day project.
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do for these people is I'm gonna build an enclosure here while you guys are working. I'm gonna insulate it because, you know, they got 2 kids, and this is, the whole story here is this is all exposed to the upstairs. We can't make this into a garage. I gotta close this in, that's why you're here. Mr. Holmes?
Mr. Bennett. How you doing, pal?
I'm pretty good, end of a long day, but this doesn't look much different, does it?
Well, the rain is not working out for us. I can see you're trying to take the,
siding off the front of the house.
well, the shingles, the cedar shingles, cedar shake.
Cedar shake shingles, whatever you want to call them.
Reinforce the rafters, good, I like that.
Yeah, they were a little under beef, so we just structured them up a little more. We'll fix up the 2 end ones.
Started the cinder block wall.
Yes,
the
Colin.
temporary insulating wall, very good.
That's right, yeah, because we got to keep them warm.
And we got to come up with an idea for the front rail to secure it.
I was going to ask you about that. Do you want to actually just get a proper railing system up there?
Yeah.
The 2 kids, it'd be nice for them to be able to use that deck, right?
Yeah, well, the homeowners are, oh, actually, they're here.
Damon, good to see you.
Just in time.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you, man. Look like you've been working out.
Hey,
See you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
Well, come on, take a look at the mess. And sorry about the mess. And all the vehicles and everything else that happens. Come on in.
Oh my goodness.
I'll tell you all about it.
So,
Okay, you can see the front. We'll just stop for a second and talk about the front. These are what we call scissor joists, okay? And they go right up inside the roof line. They go actually through the floor on the 3rd floor, structured to the rafters down the back, and it's a really custom design. So they were a little rotted, they were a little worn, we beefed them up. So I'm very happy with how they've done it. We are gonna close this wall up because it is not a garage. And right in the listing we checked, right in the listing of when you bought the house from the real estate company, what did it say? double car garage. It's not a garage. We're gonna turn it back into a basement, okay? I wanna make sure you don't park your vehicle in there, I'm sorry.
It really was something we were counting on having, is having the 2-car garage with access into the house. Because when you've got babies and groceries and all the things you're bringing in and out, it's challenging, but I think far more important is that we are all safe.
We brought in Martin, he ran his camera scope in the drain, and he said there is a pit here. So we've cut the ground, we've opened up the pit, and here's what we found. One, it was filled with earth, okay? So all the water has been backwashing earth back in here, which has clogged it. So much to the point, this main line right here runs right to the ditch on the outside of your property. We dug it up on the front, and we're gonna dig deeper, and let me tell you. There was all kinds of blockages in that pipe, so now we have to dig down. We're going to recircuit everything. We're going to get a trough drain in the front here to pick up any water that comes down. It's going to go back down into here with stone that's in there. A proper cistern is what we're going to call it. So you had a real huge issue with water flow here.
Oh, my.
This wall over here has been removed, and what we're going to do is we're going to put up a retainer wall with stone. This seems to be the smartest thing. So we're going to allow the water to leach through that wall. We're going to pick it up with a drain, run it through underneath, and run it into the trough, which runs it in here, which runs it up to the front. As for the inside, you know, we're going to be working on the rails. You know, we're going to be doing a little bit of damage and a lot of dust, and we're going to try and work around it so we don't have too much dust for the kids.
We'll contain it as best we can with zip walls and the whole bit. Absolutely.
I'm just overwhelmed. Like the extent of the things that need to be done. I just think, what would we do if we didn't have Mike and his team? Like, what would we do?
Not only are we tearing this out for spray foam, but we have new windows coming in today. Trimbo is here, getting ready, so we want the windows in before we spray foam so we can get full spray foam right to the window.
Well, we got a 4-section vinyl window with 2 casements on each end, 2 center fixed, with thick extrusion, so we have some structure. Here's a lot of wind blows, so we want to maintain the strength on the glass. It's custom fit to fit this opening right now. We made it exact fit with a foam insulation, nice and tight. We left the glass out because it's such a heavy window. Once the window's installed, we're going to put the glass in because we manufacture the product ourselves, so we can do that and no problems.
Okay, so we just basically finished doing our test and troubleshoot. Main issue that we have in this home, 2 of them basically. One is that we have one line coming out of this panel, coming into this junction box right here, which is way overloaded. We have 35 items on it. 12 is max that we have to put on here. Did some investigating, and we found this right here. Okay, I'm actually gonna pull that off. That's a moret that's basically melted. The cause of this home was done with aluminum wiring. Wires were short, I guess, when they replaced the panel, so they extended the wires. Well, they used copper to extend the wires. Okay, so basically, when you're gonna put copper and aluminum together, there's a few things you need to worry about. First, when you put your wires together, you gotta put Norlux on it to stop the from oxidizing. Secondly, you need to make sure you have the proper moret. This moret here, clear as day, is not the proper moret. What ends up happening is the aluminum will heat up more than the copper. So, and it will expand and contract. These morets are not made for that. This can only withstand so much heat. If you look up here closely, you can actually see a hole in here. This one was starting to burn as well. Look at the sheeting on the wire. That's actually burnt. Before I leave here, I need to make this safe.
We could have pesticides, we could have E. coli if you have animals around the property and stuff like that, so.
Interesting, and all that is being fed back into the house, and they are drinking and cooking with this stuff.
That is correct, yeah.
We're pulling the whole front off your house on the upper side, okay? So we're gonna take it all off. We're gonna make sure it's watertight, everything on the west side of this house.
Every day here is a huge day. I've got 30 people here again today. We're power flushing the line that comes from the cistern in the front of the house right out to the culvert. They push water into it and then basically pull it all back out. It pulls all the dirt out. It's fantastic. We can use that line. It saves me a lot of trouble. My guys are in for it today. They're digging the whole day today. That's the whole crew. They have to dig in for the gabion basket that we're going to put in. It's basically a retaining wall that's caged in. So we get a cage, we fill it with rock. It allows water to seep through. We bring it towards the drain in front of the garage, and that's why we're power flushing that line to bring all that water back out to the culvert where it should be. We have the Bowens here today. They're finishing off their block course. We're going to get them to parge the outside front just to give it a proper finish. We have to tie that wall in to make it look like it was always there. We have Steve Graves here today. We're going to start ripping off the whole front face of that wall today, get all the siding off of it, prepare for the windows. We have Trimbo here today, ready to install those windows as soon as Steve's done. It's a long conveyor belt of guys ready to work today, and most of them are up on that roof.
This door measured out at 40 inches. We can make a 40-inch door. We don't like to. It's oversized. Over time, it taxes the door. It'll wear it out. I think you're much better to go with a double door. It's stronger.
Removing a railing that is below code and replacing it with a railing that is at code. This is way low. I don't know how they got away with this. This is beyond old school. You know what I mean? I've never seen them this low before.
This wood was actually milled by Teo. It's ash, it's true 2x4. We're trying to match it's kind of the bulkier wood of the original house, which is the 4x6 here. You know, just give it some beef, make it look nice, make it look like it's supposed to be here once it's stained.
So Hugh, I heard you found some problems with the well here.
Yes, we did. A couple of issues here. Number one, this well is actually in a pit. It is a drilled well. We do not know yet exactly how deep it actually is.
Okay, well, what are some of the issues caused by having a well like that?
The main issue is a surface influence, so basically lay of the land, the well pit itself physically filling up, and if there's not a proper well seal on that, basically we're getting water in from the top of the well.
And then it affects your water, obviously, because you're getting earth, you're getting bugs, you're getting debris in your water.
We could have pesticides, we could have E. coli if you have animals around the property and stuff like that. We're going to raise this casing up above grade so there's no potential of surface influence into this actual well.
So we're going to have a pump here. It's going to pump it back into the house. Now, where in the house?
It's going to be over in the far corner of the house.
Yeah.
We're going to have a pressure tank there. From there, we're going to send it through some treatment equipment.
Filters.
Filtration. So we're going to basically get rid of the there's a rancid smell in the water here.
Yes, there is.
We do have some iron here.
Yeah.
We do also have some hardness issues. So we're going to deal with those issues, and also we're going to deal with bacteriological, which is E. coli, coliform.
Which could actually make you very, very sick.
That is correct. Once it's left our treatment equipment, it will be safe and potable to drink.
So you mean they could actually lose the bottled water and maybe drink their own water for a change?
That is correct. The other thing which we're actually also going to be doing is we're putting in a reverse osmosis system so they can virtually lose all their bottles. There's no more lugging bottles.
They will be very happy. Yeah. I can guarantee they'll be very happy. So, this is the filtration system. You want to explain it a little bit for me?
We're going to start holding fresh here.
Right.
We're going to put a precipitator tank right here.
Precipitation tank?
Yes.
Is that what it's called? And what does that do?
That will oxidize the iron. There's a bit of iron in the water, so you have to put air into the system to oxidize the iron. That's the only way that this system will be able to filter it. So once the iron gets filtered out of it, it will flow through here. It'll come in. It'll go through a pre-filter. From the pre-filter, it'll go into the softener tank. takes all your hardness and calcium and all that out of the water.
So it's going through almost 3 filtration systems.
Basically, yeah. The iron, then like a sediment filter.
Yeah.
And then it goes through your softening filter.
Wow. So by the time it gets into the house, this water is so clean.
It's in there 100%. Now after it goes through the softener, I haven't installed it yet, but there will be a UV, an ultraviolet light system.
Yeah.
And that will take care of everything.
It's amazing because I never thought of water that way. I take city water for granted, right?
A lot of people
I haven't lived rural in a long time, so I never even when I lived in the country, I never thought of well water being contaminated.
No.
You're thinking well water, it's coming from way down below, it's not contaminated.
That's right, yeah.
You're getting it spring fed. It's the cleanest water you can almost drink, right?
Almost, but not quite.
Very interesting.
Once we're completed here, basically what you're going to see is the hole itself will be all be filled in. The only thing that you're going to see left is basically this steel casing here with a vermin-proof cap. And that's the finished product.
Crazy day today, but it's good. We're getting to the end. Everyone's actually doing their final connections. I have Craig Lowe here today. It's fantastic. He's actually painting my wall for me as we speak. That always means the end to me. We have electricians doing their final today. They're putting in their lights, putting on their switch plates, their covers. That's a good sign for me. The inside is actually being completed. We still have Martin here today hooking up the drains, getting the water out of here, which is fantastic. We also have Teo here today. He's doing the landscaping down there. I mean, we've all got to be on top of each other as usual to finish this, get these people back home. We've been here way too long. The job got out of hand. It exploded on us like they do sometimes. We had to stay and finish it. We're getting near the end.
So we've applied 2 coats of base coat. We've primed the walls. Now we're ready for finish coat. We're applying the finish coat. The owner's chosen a Venetian finish, which has swirls inside of it. So this is the last step, and we're done very shortly.
We're installing our metal roof. It's a steel, pre-painted steel system. The fasteners are actually hidden, much like siding, so the panels actually overlap and lock in. Most of the fasteners are hidden from any weather, which would corrode them. Typically, that's where these types of roofs fail first. Ideally, we don't want the snow or ice to build up and cause problems. So the type of roofing itself is basically ice dam proof. At the same time, we don't want all that snow and ice sliding off and potentially causing body harm. So what the snow guards do is they just retain the snow to the point where it just sort of prevents huge amounts sliding off at once.
One of the issues we had was with the driveway coming in. We wanted to stop car traffic from coming any closer to the house. To do that, we had to create a break in here. Then we have the top of the cistern that was buried in the driveway. To make a break in that so that we can access it, or someone can access it later if there is ever any issue, is I changed the stone. I went to a different stone to a different pattern. If there is an issue, all they have to do is pull that one square, dig down, pull the cover again, fix whatever's wrong, fill it back in, put the pattern back in. It'll all work together, and that way they're not hunting in the dark to try and find where that is.
I bet you like this, your own little workshop.
I love it. My man cave.
I see the man cave. You should see my man cave. It says on the front door, Mike's cave, do not enter. It doesn't yet, but it's going to. It's good. That looks really good. Look at the front of that. I love the windows. I love the rails.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, that is really good.
You can really
and look at
see
that.
the difference.
Can't even tell there was a garage door there
I know.
before.
It
That
just
is
blends right in.
awesome. Good job. Let's go inside.
Thank you, buddy. All right.
It's a little cooler today.
Just
a little chilly.
At least one of you's wearing a coat. Kim, nice to see you again.
Hi, Kim.
Sir Jay, nice to see you, man. You guys are looking great.
Thank you very much.
How you like this?
It's amazing.
I'm excited.
I'm speechless. I can't believe this is our house.
Yeah.
This is so exciting.
I can't wait to see what's inside.
I love the siding, the windows, the doors. You know, the graves go into the extreme work of the metal roof and the little skid plates on top that stop the snow. So we don't want anything coming down, sliding down and hitting anyone down here. I love the rails.
I'm stunned.
Having the sawmill at home and milling it up and, you know, the guys putting in the pickets. Here's what I like. There's no longer a hole in the wall that used to have a garage door. And what do we have now? A nice double door and lights and electricians that we brought in. Everyone that came in on this tail doing all this. But first, what did we have to open up? Oh, look at it. We take a cut in the driveway and what do we find? Another issue. How are we gonna solve the wall, the water, and everything just working together that we cleaned it out, set this in motion, and now you can actually, this is the marking for that hole, right? But with all this, making sure that this area now and all the stone wall and everything was done and drains underneath that and comes into the trough. Everything done. Restructured. He's even, look at this here, he's even cut this plank, this 2x12 plank to actually support all the deck and then put in all the hangers that were put in place, resecure this whole area.
Well, and I just imagine the day that somebody came walking across there and that deck decided to give way.
That wouldn't have been away.
Hence the joist hangers as well, right? We put joist hangers back on just for double protection all the way down.
Let's go inside.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You got it.
Oh my God. Look at this.
New generator panel.
Oh,
you know what?
thank
It's
you.
there. So now all you need to do is get a generator. If
That
you're on
is
gas,
so
get a backup at
amazing.
12K, put it outside, boom, boom, switches right over, clicks it to the panel, and you'll be the only one in the neighborhood. Everyone's coming over to your house.
Exactly. Because I know winter's coming.
So many power outs here.
So he
And with
made
the
sure he
kids.
added that, and I like that,
Oh,
as well as a
thank you.
full house surge protector, which I think is very important. So that means if anything happens, lightning hits, anything happens for any reason, boom, it takes that out first, stops everything else from being damaged, because I've witnessed this before. Now, I love this because to me, this is the best of the best. You're talking a UV system now that is so top of the line. You have the salt system, you have the UV, you have state-of-the-art, the reverse osmosis, pumps. Everything you have is the best of the best. And honestly, now you have clean water, you have filtered water on top of the UV water, so everything here, I'm a happy guy.
It's like Christmas.
No,
Thank you so much.
I didn't get all this in my house. I can tell you that much.
Well, we know somebody. I know a guy, he's good at what he does.
You remember the stairs? And I call them really the stairs of death that were over here. To me, they were not so good, but you know what? By putting up rails, it makes it nice and safe for the kids. So I'm happy with this.
That is huge. Thank you.
For me, this is the look. You know, you come up here, it was the whole thing about being downstairs, and then coming up here was having this open concept. We took down all that barn board that was there, right?
Yep.
By taking that wood off and solving all the water issues, which we found everywhere, and insulating it with the wall tight and bringing in those guys to do it, and putting up the drywall, doesn't that kind of brighten the area?
I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like a completely different house.
You notice we don't have a ceiling fan here. Not only is the blade not going to knock you and the kids out, but the rails are proper height and nice and strong.
I am completely blown away by what was found and what was fixed and the extent to which things were done, the professionalism. I don't know how we ever would have been able to afford to do this because we sunk our life savings into this house. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Damon.
No
Good
worries.
things come.
Enjoy your house.
Dude, you're a good guy.
Too much.
Yeah, we don't even.
I don't know. I want to shake it.
We're gonna miss
We're gonna
Damon.
adopt Damon. We're having a third child. He's Damon. A little something for your.
Do not enter.
Oh, I love it. Okay, that's great. Come on, that's great.
No, you haven't.
As soon as I started opening up the walls and started doing work in there, the room started like shaking and moving.
Is it a safety issue? Is it a structural issue? Yeah, it is.
I wasn't even expecting this, which really freaks me out, and I'm getting a little nervous.
The home inspector didn't even write the fact that that existed.
Is it gonna fail? It's not is it, it's when. And when it fails, it takes everything with it.
I get a little pissed off. He should have seen something like that
saying, Clayton, I think they did the right thing. When buying a house, they brought in a home inspector. They didn't have a lot of money, so they were looking for a house that was a fixer-upper and negotiated a price based on what the home inspector found. They had budgeted, based on the inspection, to do electrical, plumbing, and the furnace just like the home inspector told them. But then they ran into a bigger problem, and this bigger problem is about to cost them more money that they don't have. That's a problem. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do a homes inspection, I'm gonna find out what needs to be done, and I'm gonna make it right.
We just made a pact that we wanted to find a house that had character, but it also wasn't gonna fall down. It had a lot of potential.
Compared to other things that we looked at, this one had pretty much everything on our checklist. It was a complete package.
Yeah, it's perfect, to be honest.
The home inspection was crucial to buying the house for peace of mind, just like it's such a big investment. So you want to make sure that what you're investing in is, you know, structurally sound. And you want to know what you're getting into.
When I first saw the 3-season room on the back of the house, I'm an illustrator, so I work from home, and I really prefer to have a studio where there's light. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, I can make a studio with full surround natural light. I mean, it would be amazing. I'd get tons of work done, it'd be inspiring. I thought, well, that's kind of my selling feature, and Clay's was the fact that you grew up on the street, and combined, it made like the ideal situation.
Okay, how you doing? Clay, Clayton, who's
Hey,
who?
Clay.
This is Clay.
Hi.
I'm Mike, nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you, Mike.
Clayton, yeah.
Absolute pleasure. You guys planned this, Clay and Clayton?
Not really.
Just a fluke?
Yeah, very good fluke.
Okay.
The home inspector didn't give it a glowing recommendation or anything, but he said structurally it's fine, but it needs a lot of work inside on a lot of things. Like it's just been let, kind of go.
I'll accept that. I mean, it's not falling apart, but there's some room for improvement.
And we can use
Massively.
that to negotiate,
Yeah.
That's what we figured, because we both grew up in construction zones, like our parents like to renovate, and so we were used to that, and so we thought, we'll just do it.
And I understand that you've come in with this full open-minded that you're going to buy an older home, you're going to put some money into it, so it wasn't a surprise that the report actually gave it a number 3. So 1 out of 10, it gave it a 3, saying needs a lot of work, more or less.
Yes.
The inspector did catch quite a few things. You have so far to date put in a new furnace.
Yes.
What else have you done?
Well, we put in a new bathroom upstairs.
Okay.
New plumbing, new electrical, like everything.
You got the permits, you did everything properly?
Yes.
Fabulous. Okay, so new furnace, what do I see? Not so much that the inspector caught it. It was done wrong by the furnace guys. Here's air in, here's air out, right?
Yep.
Not allowed to be within the air conditioner. You keep this in mind. You're gonna have to move your air conditioner.
Okay. We didn't move in immediately, but we were very excited. I spent the first month here at the house. I took the month off to renovate. And we actually stayed on budget for all those things. We were exactly on budget for the items that we thought had to be fixed. But it just started snowballing after that, and every day you find something new. I wanted to fix her upper, but I didn't want to spend my entire life fixing it up. And it just was getting kind of, the world was closing in on us for all my money. It was getting a little stressful.
Now this appears to be an addition on the back, but it is old. Now, what did the inspector say about this whole back area?
Not much.
Not much, because he didn't know what he was looking at, did he? That scares the hell out of me. What I don't like is the structure. Right from the beginning, I'm seeing the structure. You have any issues walking around in there?
Like when you step on the floor, it moves.
Yeah.
Like some days, especially when it's windy, you can feel a little bit of shake going on.
That's usually not a good sign.
No,
This is a house that's supposed to be stable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When we moved in and Clayton started loading up the 3-season room itself, the more things he put into the room, when I was outside, I was kind of fearful just looking at the structure from outside. I didn't think that you could put too much into that room and it would hold up.
As soon as I started opening up the walls and started doing work in there, the room started shaking and moving, and it was sketchy, and I really didn't feel comfortable working out there.
It's on concrete columns, okay, but it's all wood structure. One, wood does not touch concrete because both are porous, and we can actually transfer water from the concrete to the wood, which helps to rot out the wood. We can see the wood. It's starting to definitely rot out. The problem is the structure. A single 2x8 is this beam here. 2x8, 2x8, then 24 inch on center, holding up at least 3,000 pounds. I'll bet you it's more than that. This is not how we do this. If you're going to do concrete, everything must be steel and or concrete. If this gave way, say it fell in, could it pull the post out, which is holding up the top? The answer is yes. Is that a lot of weight up there? The answer is yes. And look at 3 nails plated into what? If this wood is rotten, what's under the flashing that's there? And what's it nailed into? The question is it gonna fail? It's not is it, it's when. And when it fails, it takes everything with it. This is gonna be a job, but I like challenges.
This whole thing makes me completely nervous. Really careful, okay? This seems really dangerous to me.
The home inspector warned us that there's a lot of work to be done and eventually this house will be a very nice house for somebody. When I found out that that room possibly could collapse, I was really pissed off.
Ah, memories. Well, you know, it brings me back to being a kid. You had the original walls in place, the big, and look at this is all old oak. So if you do a major renovation here, keep the oak because people would love to reuse this oak. Take it to a reclaim it store or something, or just redo the house. Let's go right upstairs. Old character. Sit. Nice dog. New bathroom?
That's the new bathroom.
So what'd you do with the new bathroom?
Toilet, sink, tile, walls, insulation, vent.
You got the permits, you did everything properly?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm impressed. So we look around and what do we see? What's on the wall?
Well, there's the paint, the oil paint.
Now, based on this house being, you know, over 80 years old, what are the possibilities of the paint?
Lead.
Lead.
Yes. Now, more than likely, there's lead paint there. So you need to keep this in mind, okay? Because you're in here, working in here. I see, you know, you're taking a room at a time. But the problem is you're actually putting the lead throughout the house and you have a forced air system, right?
Yeah.
Keep this in mind. This is a dangerous thing for your body, right? So this room is bedroom under construction, yes?
It's supposed to be the master.
bedroom.
It's supposed to be the master.
Okay. A real
And
bedroom.
behind me, I suppose, is the access to the attic.
Exactly. It's a tight one.
This big. Okay. So it's the old plank board roofing. Small signs of moisture. I do not see any breathing points where the rafters meet the soffit to allow air in here. This is an issue to me. This is a concern to me. Needs to be addressed. I'm going to actually go get my tools. I'm going to go through this whole place, and I'm going to look at what the inspector missed, what he did catch, and then we're going to see what we need to fix.
Awesome.
Okay?
Thank
Give
you.
me the day, and I'll let you know.
All right.
Keep smiling.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you.
You too.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in like a constant state of flux and like I haven't had a chance to actually like settle into our home and it's not really a home.
We're just about out of money, patience, and physical strength, really.
There's a lot of work going on in this neighborhood. Well, you would expect that for a street that's around 80-something years old. But I do see from standing here, whoever did the roofing came in and ripped out all the flashing and did a new asphalt shingle, and they didn't bother replacing the flashing that is used to be there. That's not in the report. In truth, I don't care if the house is old, I don't care if the house is new. This shows how important it is to bring in a proper home inspector. Why? What is in the house? What are the problems? What do we need to, where do we need to put our money? I think the more we know, the better choices we have of buying a house for what suits our needs. And at this point right now, I'm concerned about this, and I'll tell you why. I know there's a fireplace upstairs. The hot water heater is now going through the chimney. Is this correct? Is everything fine here? Is a great question in my mind and needs to be addressed. Do we have any issues with this wonderful gas heater here running into the chimney? Do we have a possible issue of off-gassing coming back in the house? It's a question. You know, it should be checked. We're gonna have to come up with a plan on how to structure this from underneath. This has been here for years. But it is bouncy, isn't it? It's definitely bouncy. And I am concerned of the structure. It's just not good enough. Never mind even really close, because if this was my house, I'd want to make sure it's kind of safe. It's just an old home. It's over 80 years old. And it's actually surprisingly in good shape.
Good.
They put in new basement windows, and there's a few things on the inside and the front I'm going to show you, but look at the back. Stepping back for a sec, we see it's holding a lot of weight, and I don't like the way it's done, so here's what we have to do in the back. We're going to have to do a temporary support, and I want to keep an open porch in the bottom. We're going to go back to wood, and I want to structure and hold up everything on the top. We will have to confirm that these are down deep enough. Based on what I'm seeing, they are.
You want to come off of these, is what you're saying?
Why not? If we can, why not?
Cedar deck?
Be nice, wouldn't it? It's
Yeah,
got a cedar
it sure
fence.
would.
He did the cedar fence, not
Oh,
bad.
he
eh?
did that?
Yeah. You might want to hire him. Let's go to the front. They changed the electrical, they changed the furnace.
I know, I just saw that.
So let's bring in the
Venting
bros.
right in.
Let's bring in the bros. Let's see if we can help them on this.
Okay.
Now the attic is another story. I got stuck in it.
Oh, did you?
So I don't even think you want to try and get your body up there. However, let's make the access to the attic big enough. There's not enough insulation. There's no breathing from the soffits. Let's correct that.
Okay.
The home inspector, I mean, he's got a lot of good things. So I'm going to pat the guy, and then I'm going to smack him a bit and go, look, you missed the big structure in the back. What I like is if we finish the room up there, we make it safe. Yeah. We make it warm. Let's use our system so that we do, okay? Then he now turns it into his studio, and maybe he'll draw something like, you know, you.
Nice. I don't want him drawing me. Something nice.
Any problems? Phone me.
I will, buddy.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
No, I'm not going to get in here. Okay. They need to make this bigger. All right, I'm stuck. Damon!
Well, here we are Monday morning, ready to start on this project. You can tell that everyone in the neighborhood's doing the same thing, and here jackhammering over in the other yard over here. But this is a very, very dangerous situation here. We can't see a tie-in connection upstairs. What does that mean? This thing is basically floating on these two pillars here. Makes me nervous as hell. What I have to do today, engineers coming at 1 o'clock, so is Mike. We all want to take a look at this. So I'm going to open up a 1 or 2 foot channel right here. What I'm looking for is the connection on the back plate of this structure, seeing if anything is tied back into the house. Anything that's going to make me feel better about this standing on its own. The only thing that tells me here is that I'm a little more happier that at least something is tied back into the house. This beam right here ties back into the house. I don't know how far. The only thing left is the room upstairs. See how it's tied into the rafters. It's easier to actually rebuild new than work around a crappy structure. I'm really hoping that Mike and the engineer will just say, Damon, rebuild the bloody thing.
Why in the old days did they always run the floor joist this way, parallel with the wall, rather than, 90 degree off the wall? It always tends to sag, doesn't it, when you do it that way?
And it's so much easier to tie it into the existing structure if you can tie each joist in rather than having it just 2 points, and they're probably not very good points, and so it's not got much lateral stability.
I don't think it's tied in at all to the wall, to be honest. I think it's just cradling. If we look at the floor joists here, and I'm going to assume these two beams are the same, with this joist here being about 1 inch in and the other one being about 1.25 inches, because this can easily rot out and the weight load is on this, what will happen is that I'm going to assume this will break down. When this breaks down, it pushes this out and the structure will come down.
And then I think once you get rotation at this end, anything could happen to these posts, particularly because they're not well connected up at the top.
What I'm thinking, and I would love you to okay it, is what if we do a ledger plate against the wall, we bolt it into the wall, joist underneath the whole structure that runs this way, joist it out this way, and hang it on the front, turn everything to cedar underneath.
I like that idea. I like the fact that it takes the load off these side beams and puts the load into the front here.
So are we talking about trying to keep the walls and the framing as is as we're doing this?
Yeah, we can always add to it on the inside upstairs. Why put it to the landfill if we don't have to? Let's go take a look inside. All right. This was probably a porch, right?
Yeah,
just like downstairs
exactly,
was.
yeah.
Then they closed it in. So it was okay when it was a porch. There was no weight on it, no drywall, no nothing. And to change the structure, a 2x6 notch like that carried on top of the wall, sistered against the old 2x4 rafters.
And not really tied back to it either. I don't see much in the way of nails through there.
Did they even attach this 2x4 plate?
No, absolutely not. No nails.
I don't believe that.
Not a thing.
Okay, let's just take it all down. Leave all wood structure. Just to remove all the drywall, lath and plaster. So it is lath and plaster. It just tells us how old it is. It's old.
Yeah.
I was thinking this morning we were gonna take it down. I'm thinking, oh, come on, there's a way to do this. There's always a way to do it if you think about it. Put the minds together and we'll make it right.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Draw it up, come back and build it.
I understand what Mike's talking about. We are tired of filling landfills. We do a lot of it. In construction, we have to learn to stop filling them. Do what we can to preserve what's here, but working with old crap sometimes is more of a pain in the ass than actually rebuilding it. Today, take down the plaster. This is pretty old and there's probably a lot of lead paint in this house. Mass for sure. All the debris out the back window, okay? Just toss it over in garbage bags. Make sure there's no one underneath you, obviously.
Well, we're within code from the meter. The only issues we're having right now is our vent pipe is not 3 feet from our air conditioning unit. The risk having the vents near the electrical is if you have a pre-purge on the furnace, meaning it's gonna try to start and it lets a little bit of gas out, or it doesn't ignite. It has a failure of ignition. If you have any type of electrical short in this air conditioning unit, while this is off-gassing, you can have an explosion. So we're gonna relocate this air conditioning a little further out so that's away from these vents. Another issue we're also having with the vent piping is it's supposed to be insulated. These pipes do condensate. So we got to run an insulation from the wall underneath the deck all the way to these vents. The way it is now, it'll freeze. It does condensate, it'll freeze, block off your exhaust or your fresh air, and hence turning your furnace off. So you'll be left with no heat. They used to use a lot of aluminum back in the day. It's no longer code, you're no longer allowed to use it anymore. The aluminum can't withstand the heat. It tends to rust a little quicker, and it's a very light gauge aluminum. Now they tend to be a lot weaker. You can bump into this, you can break these very easily, so you gotta go to a heavier gauge metal. If it does break, you're gonna have carbon monoxide coming into the house. That's the risk. So anytime you're replacing a hot water tank or putting a liner in, you need to take this aluminum light gauge metal out and put it in a heavier gauge. We do have the chimney liner in. We're gonna make sure it goes all the way up.
We have verified that the hot water tank in the basement does have its own separate liner going right the way through to the basement and is not interconnected with this chimney whatsoever. And that is correct and according to code. So it is safe because it has a liner to vent the gases straight to the outside air.
Okay, that's a lot of lumber. Let's get this in the back, guys. Take your last, boys.
You ready?
1, 2, 3. You two, why don't you start with the beam that's actually gonna hold up this thing when we take the posts out, right? Carl, I want you uncladding these beams, okay? I want you taking off the 1x material because because you and I are actually gonna put the plate on, the new plate that's coming under this. When we go to do our new floor underneath this, right? We're gonna do a new floor underneath this to support the other one. I'm trying not to pry too much off this way, so this thing doesn't want to slide. Oh, sure. This whole thing makes me completely nervous. Really carefully, okay? The whole weight of this whole thing is sitting on a 2x6 off each side. It's not even doubled up, it's just a single. Oh, Jesus. So what are those nails actually hitting? Nothing. Air. Be careful. Take the rest of this down. Please just take that down. We were sure it was a double. I wasn't even expecting this, which really freaks me out. So that side's gonna be the exact same. If both of us were to push on this beam right here, this whole thing will slide out of those pockets, guaranteed. Those aren't in very well, and I'm getting a little nervous. Let's get that plate on, secure this. I have to think about this a little more.
Our challenge is going to be is how do we hold it in place to rebuild it? To take all this down, what are we doing? We're putting it to the junkyard.
Right.
Landfill.
Yeah.
The wood's good. Let's use it. Let's hold it in place. Let's rebuild it and put it back.
Okay, all right.
Well, let's go get them. Let's walk them through it and let them know what the inspector missed and what he was good at. So we know that there's problems on the inside to do with the new furnace you guys installed. And was it those guys that did the furnace that did the duct work from the hot water here?
Yes.
Okay, they did it wrong, so that's not a good sign. Not so much that the inspector caught it. It was done wrong by the furnace guys. We had an issue, and I talked about this, the air conditioning sitting in place right by the venting, so the exhaust from the furnace as well as the intake being right over top of the air conditioner, unacceptable. So what we've done, because you need a new air conditioner, right? We've disconnected it.
Oh.
So we've now made it legal. You're gonna have to find another location for it when you put in your new one.
Right.
Let's go around the back.
Cool.
Everything you can think of is wrong here structurally. The only thing that's probably holding it together is the concrete that is tied into the brick.
Scary.
The actual, we'll call it an addition, is not attached to the house. It's just sitting against it. There's nothing anchored in there whatsoever. The whole weight of it is being held by the 2x6 beams that are barely even fastened to those metal posts. So let's look at this for a sec. If those beams at the bottom that hold the concrete rot out, they're gonna do this. So if they cave out, the concrete floor goes down, pushes out the columns, drops the whole thing down.
Why?
Just like that.
And I'm working up there. And
Yeah, that's your room, right? That's not a good idea. So here's what we're going to do. I brought in an engineer, and we are going to reconstruct this whole thing without taking it down, because I know we can do it. So that your room is safe, warm, and you have something to draw with, okay? We're gonna make it right. Nice and simple.
what he said they're gonna do sounds amazing, and I'll be able to get back to work and pay for you know, the rest of the house that we have to pay off.
Well, it's a bit of a crappy day today. Not exactly the day to be building a deck, but can't stop now. We got to keep plowing ahead. So right now, Carl, Kate had the beam in yesterday. They did a great job of actually supporting this thing. Now we're gonna put some carriage bolts in here, fasten this ledger plate into the inside of the house. We're gonna put our new bracket in. We're gonna put some carriage bolts in through here. This is gonna be so strong, and then we're gonna be able to move it. Now I have to level it.
About 1.5 inches.
It's got to go up 1.5 inches on my side. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's going up. Why don't we just say that's even? No, just tell me if it's even. A little bit more.
That's really good now.
It's good?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good, or is it good? Tell me if it's level.
It's good. It's off like an 1/8 right now on the whole pole.
4 cranks, right? I want it level.
That's good.
That was holding up the upper structure. That's an incredible distance we've already leveled that. We've only leveled it left to right at this point, and we're already at least 3 inches off that plate. That shows how unlevel this was originally. Scary.
It's at about 3 inches.
It's gonna go up 3 inches? What is it, sinking? Oh my God, there's no way I want to level this thing. This seems really dangerous to me. And right now, I want this to stop. I don't want to jack it up anymore. I can't guarantee that concrete's work. I didn't do that concrete. If we did that concrete, I can guarantee that that concrete will stay in place. We put so much pressure on weak concrete, it could actually puncture right through that concrete. What happens then? What are we having to support that? That's supporting my beam. We're underneath that beam. Guys, come off the deck, please. I want to get basically a squash block underneath that post right down to something, okay? So I want a block on the ground, and I want to get something right underneath it to transfer that weight load right down to soil, okay? We'll crank it and level it. I got the girls out of here just in case it decides to come down. It's me and you, okay?
It was a pleasure working with you.
All right. You ready for this?
It's perfect!
Oh, hallelujah!
Perfect! Finally.
Okay, Carl, give me that post. Let's get this into place. Well, we're just putting in our last post here. We have to get these in order to demo this deck. I cannot leave my jack post in place holding up the beam. Oh, don't even touch it. It's perfect. If I finally feel comfortable enough to get my crew in here, start jackhammering this. It's a lot of movement when we're tearing this out. I don't want that to affect this. So we bring our structure underneath, holding the upper up. We then bring our post down, bring it on the outside of our deck so I can safely work on this thing.
God. I cannot believe that just happened.
My whole plan has actually gone out the window now because we're basing it on using these things. The engineer was hoping on it, Mike was hoping on it, I was hoping on it. Everything was based on that, using our new framing to come off of it.
Then it's severed at the ground because I think when this thing shifted, the easiest point for it to break would have been at the ground. It's solid underground, so it's holding it in place, but everything from there on, it just sheared. Very dangerous.
Everything we take out just seems to say this thing was more and more dangerous the more we find out about it. It definitely sets me back here.
Oh, that is disgusting.
Okay, everyone, let's get serious.
All right.
Look at that, the wind helped us. So Carl and Kate did a great job of getting our blocks back to where they were. We filled it with rebar, we filled it with concrete. This is not going anywhere. Obviously, having to enclose this area and heat the hell out of this, we're in -10 weather here. Now we can get our posts into place, get our basic framing down, and then Paul can actually finish this deck, get the cedar going, while we jump upstairs, keep rolling.
As any typical deck floor, you've got to have the proper support structure, you've got to have the proper framework. This is going to be a pretty beefy floor. We're going 12 inches on center on 2x8s over an 8-foot span, so super chunky. This is way above code. be cedar above, pressure treated below. So the pressure treated, all your cut ends, we're coating all the ends. Substructure for frame, always pressure treated. That's the only way to fly. It's going to be rot proof, bug proof. The moisture's not going to be able to affect it over time. It'll last forever. But when it's on the surface of the deck, the sun can eat it for breakfast. So as a substructure, it's awesome. But cedar has like natural oils in it. It'll last for like 25 years. It's a much more resilient product.
Mike couldn't get up here, huh? Let's just see. Oh, come on. What was he worried about? You just gotta make your own hole. There we go. Well, the insulation's definitely old up here. It just looks like it's broken down. It's uneven. It could use a little bit more. I would actually get this sucked out and actually bring new in. Definitely no breathing up here. There's not enough vents. So what I'll get Alex's guys to do, I'll bring in some baffles, we'll get the insulation back so that we actually get proper circulation up here. We use baffles within the joist span that come from our soffit area on the outside to within our attic space. It allows 1.5-inch airflow to our attic without any obstruction from insulation. Then you need air circulation here, which means you need air coming in through my soffit vents, in through the baffles, and into my attic, getting proper air circulation and out through the roof vents. You want to treat this basically as an outside temperature. Whatever temperature is outside, you want it in here.
Well, two key elements to any roof is proper ventilation and proper insulation in the attic. And by not correcting those issues, by not catching those issues, basically this roof's not going to last its warranted life. You can decrease that as, up to 10 years with improper ventilation. We're changing out all of the vents to a better quality vent, more critter-resistant vent. Typically, we ventilate a roof based on its attic footprint or square footage. We need to meet a certain amount of square footage of ventilation, both in intake and exhaust being roof vents, and an equal amount of open area for the intake. Typically, attics on older houses just had roof vents, which is really only half the battle when ventilating your attic space, because you're relying on the warm air that's escaping through the house into the attic area to push up and sort of bellow out of the roof vents. When you introduce a cool outside air intake, you're actually going to get a draw effect, much like how a chimney works. It was a fairly obvious opening in the upper gable on the peak. The roof had been done, I guess, a number of years ago, a few years ago anyway, and the roofers forgot to put a wall flashing across that area. The problem with that is if you have any wind-driven rain or snow and ice, it can creep into that area and cause water issues inside and chances of mold or mildew.
Did it hold, Joe? A little bit. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's good. It's good. A little bit. This is what I call a privacy screen. A privacy screen, for me, is something that's going to give you privacy, but at the same time adds a wow factor, if you will. The neighbor's window's like right there. So if you're sitting at a table here, you're kind of looking right into that window. So instead of blocking it off, we're gonna kind of put this little airy type of arrow point design that I've created. Blocks the view, but doesn't feel like a wall. That's the important factor. It feels very airy, but not like a wall.
Okay, past the wires.
Okay, guys, 2:45. We have spray foam in 15 minutes. Clean up, patch any holes that's necessary so spray foam's not leaking outside. We have 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops.
What pressure? Pressure's always on. The pressure doesn't stop. The pressure exists constantly here.
What we're doing for a little bit nicer appearance is using a cedar shingle. Cedar, even though it's a softwood, is a very resilient material in exterior applications because of a lot of natural oils and acids, which kind of resist water infiltration, saturation. It is a renewable resource as well, so it's somewhat of a green product. Installed correctly, it does have a similar lifespan to asphalt shingles, which are an oil and gas product.
Now we can look.
Hey, look. This is pretty cool. Whoa.
Whoa.
That is, wow.
When I found out that that room on the back possibly could collapse, I get a little pissed off. The home inspector should have seen something like that.
Well, we're coming near the end, so of course we have everyone here today. Paul from Cutting Edge, he's gonna finish off the deck today, give us a set of stairs. We also have Trimble windows here today.
One of the most common problems with installing windows is they're not properly shimed and supported. You want to make sure these shims are just firm enough against the window that it doesn't raise it up too much, but also that it doesn't allow the window over time to sag. If this would start to sag down, your gap up here where the weather stripping is would start to drop, allowing the wind in it.
It takes a lot of work to bring back something that's very old to something that's new and into today's code, basically. But Mike is absolutely right. Why are we tearing down structures just to rebuild when we don't have to? It was a lot of work to keep it, but at the end of the day, we're not filling landfills. We're actually salvaging what was here and just keeping the stuff that was good, but just adding to it. We were able to actually keep this. And I think Mike is going to be actually pleasantly surprised with the look of this. I'm pretty proud of it.
Mr. Bennett.
Mr. Everybody, I think, on this.
Well, I got to tell you, this is actually quite stunning.
Paul's guys did a fantastic job on this deck.
I just came around the corner and wow.
Just everything that was happening here making us nervous, right? Because as it was sliding around and wanting to move and us restructuring it, it's just a lot of nerves, right? You want to make sure everyone's safe, make sure, this is a job at the end.
Were you nervous at all?
Absolutely.
I know, I got the call. Holmes.
It is not going anywhere for another 100 years.
I'm telling you, this is really good. 100% thermal broken?
Absolutely 100%.
Good job.
Thanks, buddy boy.
I think they're gonna like it.
They
Let's
better.
get them.
Okay.
Real good job.
Thank you, man. Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
Long time no see. I love this one. Clayton. Clayton.
Hello.
What do you think?
Clayton.
That's pretty good. Nice to see you. Clay, nice to see you. We brought in Steve Graves. We fixed the flashing in the front. There was quite the gap there, wasn't
It was a huge gap, so whoever redid the roof never did the flashing.
Since we're up there, what else did we do? The attic.
We actually added insulation to the attic. You should have seen your old insulation. I mean, it was broken down so much, it would just fall apart in your hands, right?
Oh, nice.
It wasn't doing anything anymore. You might as well had nothing up there.
Well, it felt like it.
Yeah, I'll bet. How do you feel now? Oh, you notice the difference already?
We noticed the day that the truck we noticed out front.
Yeah.
That night, we didn't have to use comforters on the bed. It was like night and day.
The biggest problem we had up there was that not just the installation, it wasn't breathing properly. So we've had Mr. Graves come in and take care of that and raise our roof vents up higher, eliminate the ones that were down low, as well as go around all the way around the house, open it up, and make sure that we have that airflow going into the attic. If you like that, you might like your new room. Let's take you there. Okay, come on, right out. Let's just get right in here.
Get in there. Holy man. You can actually walk in here now. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, it doesn't move. Holy God. Can't even believe this.
Well, if you're excited about this, I'm excited.
This is amazing.
You're gonna love the windows. These are the quick sliders. I love them. So you just pull these out. Okay, so wash the outside.
And
this
that
is really
for
good.
You because this is your room, not for Clay, but for Clayton to clean the windows.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, don't worry.
So far, so good.
Yes.
Wow, let's save the best for last. Let's go downstairs.
All right, sounds good.
I don't know if I'll even leave my house now, to be honest. Like, it's like a cocoon almost in there. Before, that room was freezing.
The finishes and the color, and it's all coming together, and it's beautiful. Just shocked.
Now we can turn around, and now we can look. This is pretty cool.
Whoa.
Whoa.
It's pretty cool.
Are you kidding?
That is amazing.
Jeez, man.
You like it?
It's beautiful. No,
Yeah,
it's gorgeous,
it's really
man.
gorgeous.
That is, wow.
Structurally, this was incredible because we had to support the upper, right? And that was a beam right across underneath, right down, so we could pull everything out at the bottom. Actually, who was it, Carlito or you that kicked over the column?
I did. It severed at the ground because I think when this thing shifted, the easiest point for it to break would have been at the ground. It's solid underground, so it's holding it in place, but everything from there on, it just sheared. Very dangerous.
Really, it was a catastrophe waiting to happen. Now it's not. Bringing in Paul, very special deck guy to have. He's extravagant. He's brilliant. He's an artist, right? The simple look of using 2x4 instead of straight on as a louver. So from that neighbor's shading this side, and from this neighbor shading this side, and it gives you that privacy as well as that wonderful, like that wall is pretty cool.
Thank you so much.
Very, very,
amazing.
very happy. Yeah, we could have never done this because just financially, there's no way we could have put on a project like this.
Good people, you get what you give, right?
Absolutely.
You're good people.
Oh, thanks.
So you got it back.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Happy?
Very much, very much.
Good.
You each have your own space. That's yours up there, and this is Clay's down here.
Thank you.
I think you'll both be
so
sharing.
much.
I think so. I definitely
Thank
so.
you.
Overwhelmed, really. Dude, it's amazing.
I am blown away.
I'm just like, man, I'm so lucky that I wrote that letter.
So an awesome, good job.
Doing an amazing job.
Cheers to everyone.
Super amazing job.
To the Clays.
You did draw something.
Yeah, man.
Look at this. Look at this. Holy bleep. No wonder I'm freaking. There's the homeowners.
That is wicked.
That's it.